So, a while back, I kind of talked about a fight I've always had in my head that, I really wanted to go in detail with because I feel like there's a lot of pros and cons and how either side could work out. And that being another tag team match, and this time around, it's Star and Marco versus Steven and Connie. So yeah, you got Starco versus Stevani, basically. And it's not here to discuss which is the better ship, because, god damn it, they're both frickin' Star Destroyers in my shipping fleet, so, I love them both equally. But what would it be like if we had a tag team match between Star and Marco and Steven and Connie? How exactly would that go down? How would this fight exactly play out? Now, it's kind of funny because when you think about it, both groups, both couples, I guess you could say, are very much alike. You've got a very naive, very fun-loving, very happy-go-lucky, magical being, and you've got their straight-laced, no-nonsense human companion at their side, who keeps them guided and focused, basically. Those be, so they're so much alike, it's scary. And both Steven and Star are both still in training. They're still learning more about their abilities and the magical power within them. Whereas Marco and Connie are also still in training. I mean, Marco's still he's a great martial artist, but he's still a green belt. And Connie is an excellent swordswoman, and she's only going to get better from there. Now, like I kind of talked about in my Steven Universe and Miles Morales fight, when I talked about that one, I talked about how in that one Steven's magical-based abilities are based on his emotion, and all of them are defensive capabilities. Nothing's going to get through that shield. I mean, you remember the Homeworld ship? That thing couldn't, penetrate the... it couldn't penetrate the hull for anything, yeah. It could do nothing against the hull of the ship. I mean, excuse me, the power of his shield. Why did I say hull of the ship? God damn. So yeah, that's kind of the big thing here, is that, Steven is all defensive capabilities. On the other hand, Connie is more of the offensive. She brings the offensive capability, and she's incredibly intelligent. Not to mention, we've seen that Steven and Connie working together in tandem, not just when they fought Pearl and the Hollow Pearls, they also managed to defeat those gem clusters. They managed to beat them together, and you see how much of a well-oiled team they are, and... yeah, I don't need to mention that they also carry a special trick up their sleeve. Yeah, fusion. So if these two fused into Stevani, I think it's only a matter of time before we see that, Sword and Shield compilation when Steven and Connie merge together. We're just kind of waiting for that, but yeah. So yeah, they have a special trick up their sleeve. They can literally become one person, So, but however, Star and Marco are very much alike as well, Star, her abilities are very offensive, but she also has she has a few defensive spells. However, she's still trying to learn how to use the wand, arguably one of the most powerful objects in her universe. Also, the wand has been recently cleaved, so we don't know how exactly it's going, until we see Season 2, we don't know exactly how, how that kind of power plays out and how exactly it works without the, full power of the wand. But I guess for sake of argument, we could say that this is before, the end of Season 1, so I guess you could say that this is the wand still uncleaved. Yeah. So Star is still learning, but we've seen that she had, from that wand, Star can unleash just a devastating amount of power, she can just unleash these waves of magical energy, and different kind of spells, even laser narwhals, and summon laser puppies. It's the possibilities are endless with that. Also, you got to give a lot of credit to Marco as well, who, for a human and still a green belt, he's actually pretty good. He is pretty damn good in hand-to-hand combat, and he's pretty intelligent. And both of them, again, like Steven and Connie, they both, together they bring together this kind of they bring this very well-oiled team and very well choreographed. Despite, Star being very happy-go-lucky and almost headstrong, Marco's there to keep her focused. Now, the other thing is that, Star and Marco are both pretty durable. They've been smacked around by a lot of monsters. But however, on the other hand, Steven and Connie are pretty durable as well. Remember when they got smacked around by those gem clusters? Not to mention, training with Pearl's pretty, not the easiest thing, I would imagine. Training to fight Pearl is probably in no way, shape, or form a walk in the park. So, yeah. So yeah, this is gonna, this is a pretty intense fight. This is gonna be a very I wouldn't say brutal. I take that back. This isn't a brutal fight, but both each of them, both teams are very much alike. Like I said, they're both very, they both carry a lot of. Each of them bring these very offensive and defensive kind of pros and cons. You could say that Star has the better advantage because she's older, she has more experience. But then I'd have to say, yeah, but Steven's really 14. But on the other hand, Steven's powers haven't really manifested, I guess you could say, fully and at full extent until, they haven't really manifested, and he's still learning to control them. Same thing of Star still trying to control her wand. But Steven has all these other capabilities. He can create the bubble, he can create the shield. He can now, when he jumps, he can now alter, the mass of it, his mass to basically leap, to pull a Superman. Like I said, he can leap tall buildings in a single bound. And also he can give plants life. Remember the whole island of watermelons? Yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, also, again, Connie, as young as she is, she's also, at only 12 3/4 old, she was trained by one of the best swordsmen in her universe, and that was Pearl, who, by that montage, didn't really exactly take it easy on her, I would imagine, did not take it very easy on her. So, and again, you put those two together, literally, you've got one capable fighter. But however, at the same time, you're down to, when they fuse, they're all, Star and Marco are still two people, so they can still coordinate, whereas if Steven and Connie fuse, it's just one person. However, it's two minds working together as one in that, and if, again, Steven brings the defense, Connie brings the offense, and you put them, again, you literally put them together, and you've probably got one capable warrior on their side. The other thing is that, Star is also a pretty good hand-to-hand fighter. She was trained by the Royal Guards, as she said, she was trained by Royal Guards, and Marco's a pretty capable fighter as well. So you look at that, and for, I don't know how much pain a mutant can take, but I would imagine, judging by how much Star have been hit around, I would imagine that she is, that she's pretty durable. So is Marco. He just kind of fights through the pain, doesn't he? He just continues on, happy as a clam. It's a bruised, broken, and bloody clam. So yeah, this is a fight. Again, I don't think you'll turn, like, someone's gonna, die, but the thing, like, again, it's like looking at it's like watching the two gender-bent teams, fight each other. And I'm pretty sure someone would comment on that during the fight. The other, again, and going back to training real quick, you also have Steven, who is being trained by the Crystal Gems. And both of them are still, both teams very young, but they've both shown that they're both really capable, respective teams. So, they both have great destinies ahead of them. They're still learning about their abilities or their weapons, in Star's case, and who knows, maybe she has a few abilities that she's going to learn. In Season 2, we do know that she is going to learn some new inherent abilities, so that ought to be interesting. So, yeah, this is like I said, this is a really tough call. I really can't think of who would win, because they're both Marco and Star, as well as Steven and Connie, are both equally matched in my mind. They're both very equally matched, and it's a it's a really tough call. Both teams have their own pros and cons, and yeah, I mean, you could say that Steven and Connie get the edge because they can fuse into Stevani, and that that may come into play. But at the same time, Marco and Star have fought legions of monsters, so that is this is a pickle. I gotta say, this is one pickle for me. But anyway, I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Who do you think would win? If you think Star and Marco would win, put hashtag StarCoWins, and leave a comment below with the hashtag StarCoWins, and list off the reasons why you think Star and Marco would come out on top. Or, on the other hand, if you think Stephen and Connie would win, put hashtag Stevani wins and list off the reasons why you think Stephen and Connie would come out on top. Again, this is not a fight over who's the best ship, because I love both ships equally. Whereas, Stephen and Connie is like this adorable little tugboat in my fleet of ships, and Starco has now become like a aircraft carrier in my fleet of ships. So yeah. But anyway, who would win in the battle between these two teams? But anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about this one. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm out.